Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to give you my thoughts on Dirty Angels, starring Eva Green and directed by Martin Campbell. And I'm a big fan of Eva Green. She's always been one of my most well regarded and favorite actresses out there. Um, Her performance and portrayal of Vanessa Ives in the criminally underseen show Penny Dreadful alone, both personally and objectively, I'd put up there with like all time best performances I've seen in film or TV. Of course, I liked her numerous other films and projects as well. So the excuse to see her in a bit of an action film, since she and Campbell collaborated in Casino Royale, I was pretty interested, to say the least. Now, with regards to director Martin Campbell himself, I've always thought he was one of the better action directors of the past few decades. I love both of his Zorro films, Mask of Zorro and Legend, personally. Um, I liked his, kind of political war drama thriller, Beyond Borders, with Angelina Jolie. Um, Even Memory, a few years ago with Liam Neeson, was pretty decent, and not to mention Protege with Maggie Q was good. Um, he always has at least a consistency to how he helms, films like this. I have not seen Green Lantern though, but I have a feeling that was a pretty big studio fuck up in the first place. But basically, Green's character, Jake, or Jessica, otherwise known as Jake, is a high-ranking member in a commando unit. She experiences some, trauma with an operation gone wrong, with her being airlifted from a situation, and others are executed in front of her. The movie's pretty intense and dead serious, man. She's pelted with rocks, and like 4 or 5 people are executed in front of her within the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie. So this is not like a lighthearted, casual action flick to throw on. But yeah, basically, on there ends up being this other terrorist operation where schoolgirls in another country are taken hostage. So it's sort of her trying to do right, trying to go about it as much in her power as she can to make sure it works out this time, essentially. And I am not doing it justice by describing it the way I am. That's essentially the gist of it. Uh, and I gotta say, I liked it fairly well overall. I think it was one of the more solid action films this year. Increasingly so as the movie goes on. Just there's a slickness and a simplicity to the way it's done here, which again Campbell is always reliable for. It's I don't want to say it's bare bones. I think it is more impressive action wise than say Memory was, which was more of a crime thriller. But there's some slickness in like some of the knife slashes and the shootouts, and there are shootouts, and they get pretty tense throughout the movie. Are handled well. And holy hell, Green, again, as she always does, delivers a very raw and visceral performance. Um, I don't think you can. Again, I don't think you can watch those first 5-10 minutes of the movie and say the acting is bad. At least from her. Some of the lesser knowns in the movie are a bit up and down. You have Ruby Rose, who isn't too bad in this, but her casting feels a little random. Um, but Green really just brings it. And it's on her shoulders, and rightfully so. And for me, she really made it. The ending is really satisfying. There's a particular, you know, person she's after that had to do with that initial operation we see at the beginning of the movie. The conclusion to that's pretty satisfying in like a bad guy action sort of way, but it never becomes cheesy. People kind of just get what they deserve per se, and the ending isn't necessarily like just happy-go-lucky either. Um, but yeah, you get to know Green's character a bit. Uh, there's a really nicely acted scene between her and I think it's a character named Malik. I like their dynamic in the movie too. But yeah, this is definitely one I wish I would have seen in theaters, and I definitely would have, but unfortunately, it did not play at any theater near me. Um, but yeah, I like this one a lot, and I really admire Green. She's stayed out of like the major film cycle quite a bit throughout her career. Sure, she's been in part of big films like Casino Royale, 300: Rise of an Empire, etc. But for a large part, she seems to follow where she thinks the art is, and I really appreciate that. She's also one who spoke up about Weinstein and fending him off as well. Um, so yeah, I appreciate someone that follows the passion before the money, and she seems to be continuing to do that. But yeah, I do recommend seeing this movie. I hope it comes out on disc. It's definitely one I'd want to watch again. But yeah, she's very, very believable. I'm sure there are plenty of really insecure dudes with weird underlying issues on the internet saying, "Oh, a fucking woman leading another movie like this is fucking woke." Jeez, oh, shut up. People need to grow up seriously with that crap. It's old. But Green, she has the believability and the gravitas that I think she's more believable in a part like this versus a lot of males that would be. But yeah, what do you guys think about this one? If you've seen it, I'm rating it. I'm still kind of swaying between like a B plus, and like an A minus, somewhere in there. You thought about it, you can follow me on TikTok, of course, Twitter, Instagram later.